Alright, what's going on, guys? Video number 3 on this series, mistakes men make in their 30s. Let's talk about it, okay? If he already hasn't been married and divorced, he's already ahead of the game. But what happens around this age is usually men start getting divorced around this age because they went to school. After high school, they went to college, and then they got a 9 to 5 job, and then they got a wife to settle down with. Something I talked about in my last video. And then they want to buy this white picket fence house and buy a white dog or a golden retriever and settle down with the wifey and 3 kids. You know the rest. The perfect blue pill narrative. They usually buy this. Guys usually fall into this trap and buy this perfect blue pill narrative in their 20s. And by now, kids have grown up a little bit. They're in their teens or mid-teens or even 18 by now, if he was married in his early 20s and got kids right after. And now the wifey starts looking for that attraction, that spark somewhere else. Because you've been living with this person for so long, you know everything about them in and out. You see them day in and day out. They're right there in front of you, and you're just bored of it. I talked about this all the time, fellas. This is why long distance relationships last longer. Because, yes, I get it that there's probably cheating happening, this and that, but if two people want that relationship to work, and I'm not talking about putting in the extra effort to make it work. If you're just there and you know that, okay, I have a relationship, I have a girl, or a girl's like, okay, I have a dude somewhere else, like that's always my backup plan. If you're a dude, that's always your backup plan. Like you're never gonna go through a dry season because one person is always gonna be there, and you know that in the back of your head. And then you go about and doing whatever else you want to do. If two people think like that, they don't have to say it out loud to each other, but if they think like that, if they have that exact same mindset, that relationship is going to last a lot longer because neither of them are going to be completely needy to each other. And if she starts pushing about FaceTiming and Skyping every night, it's time to let her go. If you see that you guys are dating and she is not really hitting you up that much, you're not really hitting her up that much, maybe you guys talk once a week and see each other once a month, and everything, and it's been going like that for a few months, keep it that way. But the problem is most of these girls out here are not like that. They want that initial spark and they want all of it at once. And that's why that spark runs out so much quicker. And when that runs out, now they're bored, they have seen everything of you that they wanted to see, and they move on to the next one. Same thing happens with guys in their 30s. If they haven't made that initial mistake, they're not going through this tough time of divorce right now, of not being able to see their children right now. But what's even more frustrating than that is after they come out of that initial divorce and the initial marriage, now the biggest mistake they make at this age is they start going out and looking for another one. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Why would you do that? You obviously had a bad taste in your mouth. And no, don't tell me that you haven't found the right one. That wasn't the right one. Because before you got with that one, people were telling you the exact same thing. Oh, you just haven't found the right one. You just need to get married and you just need to settle down. Everything will be fine. And now that didn't work out, the first marriage didn't work out, the same people are telling you the exact same things all over again. Oh, you just didn't find the right one, that didn't work out with her, but go marry somebody else. When you're going through your dating period, just before you got initially married for the first time, when you're just going through dating period, people would tell you, right, that, oh, you just haven't found the right one. That's why you're not happy. That's why these girls are acting up. That's why they're playing games, this and that. No, fellas, that's females' nature. They all do. Even girls who are virgins play the games. It's in their nature. They're like cats. They're curious creatures. So you give them little pieces of crumbs of your validation here and there. And they want more. And then you pull back. It's always a push-pull game. It's always about having the more power in the relationship. It's always a power struggle in the relationship. It's never equal partnership. It's never love, and it's never about just love forever. Love doesn't even really exist. True unconditional love doesn't really exist. There's always some sort of conditions attached to it. I'll talk about it in another video. Second mistake guys make at this age is that they tell themselves, "Oh, I'm getting old. There's no reason for me to even try in my life anymore." From where it is right now, it's not even worth trying to turn my life around from this point. Are you out of your mind, dude? 30, you're still young. 35, you're still young. Yeah, I get it that you have a beer belly. Yeah, I get it you have a dad bod. Yeah, I get it your hair started to thin out. Yeah, I get it that you smell like crap because your diet is crap. So all that nasty food that you eat end up in your system, which gives out bad odor from your body. Yeah, I get it that you don't work out and take care of yourself. Yeah, I get it that your finances aren't in order because you've been divorced and you're going through a rough patch and you're still trying to look out for love out here. Try to broke date. That's what Coach Greg Adams calls it. Broke dating is when you don't really have it like that, and your purpose isn't really there. You're not really on your grind. You don't really have the money coming in like that, but still whatever money you get from your little 9 to 5 job, you still spend a lot of it, or a good portion of it, on dating women, which is the first thing you need to eliminate from your routine and your lifestyle if you're going through a rough patch in your 30s right now. There's always time for improvement, even if you're in your 50s. I'll get to that in a couple of videos. There's always time for improvement. Yeah, it's going to be harder for you to get your butt in the gym and start making your mind disciplined and getting back into working out, if you're ever working out to begin with in your early teens or mid-teens or early 20s. It's going to be a lot harder, I get it, especially after putting your body through all that chemicals, alcohol, junk food, saturated trans fat, whatever, all those artificial flavored sugars for years, especially putting your body through through all that for years. Yeah, it's going to be a lot harder, I know. But is it possible? Absolutely. It's going to be hard to get your finances to turn your finances around, especially when you have child support to pay every month and maybe alimony, and you have to pay all that money to your divorce lawyer and court fees from divorce. But is it still possible to maybe save even some portion even some portion of the rest of the money that you have after paying off your child support and alimony? Is it possible to still save up a little bit out of the rest of the money that you have? Absolutely. Does that mean that you might have to downgrade to a Honda Civic or a Toyota Corolla that's not even from this millennia, a really old one, or the one that doesn't require that much gas, a vehicle that doesn't require that much gas, and the insurance is also cheap on it? Does that mean that you have to downgrade from a full-size house to a studio bed apartment or a one-bedroom apartment? Yeah, it might mean that. It might mean that you're gonna have to struggle for the next few years coming up. Because that struggling right there, you should have done this when you were in your early 20s. You should have done that a long time ago. So that's why you're paying that price now. The only problem is your body and your mind is a lot older than, by a lot older I mean at least 10 years older. And we all know that our bodies are, we all know that we all hit a biological clock. So maybe you don't have as much testosterone as you had when you were in your 20s. Maybe you don't have as much energy. Maybe you're not as enthusiastic about things as you were when you were in your 20s. But can you still make it happen? Absolutely. But it's going to be a lot harder, I'm telling you right now. It might even mean that you even become homeless and sleep under the tree and still save up some money to maybe put down to get a car, and then you start sleeping in the car, and then you save up some money to put down in a studio bed apartment. Now you have a roof over your head. Now you can start saving up even more to open your business, or at least buy another house, a smaller one, and rent that crap out. Maybe buy a crappy house, fix it up a little bit, rent it out. Maybe you buy a two-bedroom house, and then now you move out from your studio bedroom apartment, and you go live into that go live in one of the bedrooms in your house and rent out the other one. And now you have a roommate who's paying for your mortgage every month, or who's paying for your bills, your utilities. Now you're living for free. Now that money that you would have spent on your living expenses when you're paying your studio rent apartment, now you start saving that extra portion, and maybe in a couple of years or next year or so, you buy another house and rent that out. See where I'm going with this? There's always room for improvement, even though how bad your situation is. If you get fired from your job, if you're laid off, you don't know what to do, maybe it's time to go get a CDL and get on the road, start driving. Maybe it's time to even deliver food. Maybe it's even time to go through a construction worker, a dirt worker, dirt labor. Whatever it is, there's jobs out there everywhere, blue collar job. Maybe this might mean that you're going to have to go back to school and get a 2-year cert for your electrician or plumbing degree or whatever. Whatever it is that you want to do to get the money coming in somehow, you got to figure that out on your own. There's tons and tons of options, so don't sit there and tell me that you don't know what to do. You do know what to do, but you don't know what to do about your ego. Your ego is what's preventing you from growing. You tell yourself, man, I went to college, I have a 4-year degree. Oh, by the way, you still have student loans to pay off, right? Yeah. I have a degree, I have a 4-year degree. I can't be going out and working as a delivery driver. I can't be going out and getting a CDL driver. Why can't you? It's because of your ego is not letting you. You got to push that aside. Your ego is the one who got you into this position today that you are in. Without your ego, you would have never gotten married. Without your ego telling you that, oh, you'll never find the one, so you better settle down now, you would have never done this stupid mistakes, spend 20, 30, 50 grand on your marriage, buy a $200,000 worth of house, or even $500,000 worth of house, put down money on that. Your house gets taken off, your credit score goes to crap, bank forecloses your house. Your ego is the one who told you that you need a nicer vehicle to show off your wife, to take your wife to nice restaurants and this and that. So it's still in your way from growth. Right now is the prime time of stop dating and start building your life from scratch again. See, dating, going back into the market again after you just hit a rough patch like that in your life is the worst thing you can do. Now, I talked about it in the last video when I said mistakes men make in their 20s. See, that's the worst mistakes men can make starting out. But now, this mistake right here in your 30s, if you try this again, this is worse than a guy making that mistake when he's in his 20s. The reason behind it is because when he's in his 20s and he makes that mistake of settling down for the first time, maybe he might be able to come out of it after things go south, because this is his first time. He doesn't have any other attachments. He doesn't have any other sources where his money is going to, where people are taking his money away from him. But now, if you're in your 30s, you already have one source. You already have one ex-wife who's taking your money. Your money is already getting away from you. So now this mistake you're about to make to go date and get married again for the second time is worse than a guy getting married for the first time in his 20s. To completely eliminate that idea from your head. Can you still get laid every now and there, here and there? Absolutely. But you're going to have to bring your standards down a lot lower than they were, which is, again, is your ego that's telling you that no, you can't do that. You're banging a 7, now you can't be banging a 4. Yeah, when you're banging a 7, you had a nice house, a nice car, and a decent enough job to pay the bills, but now you don't. So what makes you think that you're still valuable as you were 5-10 years ago? You're not. So you got to build your value back up again to get to that point. See, women are byproducts of success. I always talk about this. Nobody wants to listen. They always want to keep chasing women, keep chasing tail. What you should be chasing right now, like you should be more hungry about your success than you are about your food. That's how bad you ought to be wanting it right now in your 30s, because this is 30s is like the midpoint in your life. That's what people call it, midlife crisis, right? But you're still young. You're still young. People live till 70, 80 years old. So you still have 40 more years ahead of you. 30, 40 more good years. If you start taking care of your body, start going to the gym, start getting a better body. See, if you spend your time productively on yourself, making yourself better, you're not even going to have time to date, to broke date. If a girl flaked on you, and this is not just for guys in their 30s, this is for all my guys. If a girl flaked on you on a Friday night or a Saturday night, don't get sad, don't get upset, don't get depressed. Don't tell yourself, oh, I'm too ugly or I can't get laid. Instead, think to yourself that, man, okay, that'll just save me $50 tonight. Now I can use that money and invest in my real estate or my business. Or better yet, I can invest in my own self. Maybe I want to go out and just enjoy myself a good meal and some drinks. I'm going to go do that and spend half of that money. See what I'm saying here? There's always two sides to the coin. You just have to make sure that you're looking at the right side of it. Fellas, don't get discouraged that you hit a bump in your life. Instead, use this time in your 30s to really focus down. Now you have to do twice the amount of focusing down and working hard, because you're a little bit late to the game. But it's still possible. That's the biggest mistake guys make in their 30s. The biggest two mistakes is trying to get back on the market again after a divorce and letting their body go and their finances go to complete crap. And the rest of their life, they're working 9 to 5 or they're trying to scrape up money to live off of it. See, the guys who have, my aunt's boyfriend right now, he's in his 40s, about to hit 50s. He has a nice house, but he's still working. I don't want to live a life like that. You know why he's still working? Because his house is probably not paid off yet. I know it's not paid off for a fact, actually. That's why he's still working. He should have been using his life to build sources of income that would have allowed him to pay these bills now without him even working. But instead, he was chasing tail. He got married, got divorced, cheated on his wife, got divorced, and now he's dating my aunt. He's still chasing tail. Guys are too afraid to be lonely. Guys are too afraid to die alone. You're always going to die alone unless you grab somebody and then put their head next to yours and then shoot each other with the same gun at the same time. You're always going to die alone. Yeah, maybe you're going to have people surrounding your bed, your deathbed, holding your hand, but you're still leaving on your own. Just like how you came to this earth on your own. Unless you have a twin, but those are rare cases. So fellas, there's nothing to be worrying about. There's nothing to be scared about being by yourself. You should be actually mastering to be lonely. I'll talk about it in another video. It's very powerful and it's very attractive to people. But most people don't know that. Anyways, hope this video made sense. Like, comment, subscribe, share to this channel. I'll see you guys next time. Until next time, stay blessed, stay beautiful, and above all, stay classy.